Remember, this entire manga and every manga on this channel is hand-drawn by myself, and now you too can learn exactly how to make your own viral Dragon Ball mangas at www.makemanga.com, where you can learn directly from me. My mangas have got me on TV, on newspapers, and even earned me over $60,000 a month on Patreon alone. And now, you can click the link in the description and pinned comment of this video and do it yourself. You only need to see the website to see just how many thousands of you are taking this opportunity right now. And don't forget also, the next video to this Ultra Vegito series has already been made and is live now on my Patreon right now for over 4,500 of you incredible fans to watch after this. Again, links are in the pinned comment and description. Enjoy.
Gohan, I'm sorry! What is this? So our story continues back finally with our hero Goku in his green seraphim form, blasting a Kamehameha with full force and no holding back against his taken over son, Gohan, possessed by the demon Sparda, who after being trapped in a strange flashback would find himself well and truly taken off guard. You sneaky rat! What the hell was that place? You took me! As Sparda Gohan, trying his best to push back with his own energy, grabs hard onto the beam, would understandably still be perplexed by the illusion he had inexplicably been brought into moments before. Huh? What is he talking about? Gohan, are you fighting back in there? But Goku, none the wiser over what Sparda had experienced, would just continue to push on, but with his mind beginning to cloud with some hesitation. But back with the possessed Saiyan, the force of the Kamehameha would now be digging his feet harshly into the ground, breaking its fragile layers as now an infinite ton of pressure and weight would be pushing down. Dad! What are you doing? Stop! But as Sparda Gohan would continue to descend down into the collapsing floor, it wouldn't be long before the conniving demon would attempt something underhanded, suddenly code-switching his voice to one that resembles more closely Son Gohan, as he would call out to Goku, who immediately, with a stunned face, would comment as if by instinct, Gohan? Son! No! Dumb Saiyan. Immediately playing into Sparda's hand, who would deviously smile, commenting, I can feel it. His attack is weakening already. This is my chance. Kakarot! Don't fall for that again, clown! Finish him! But attempting to save his friend and rival from falling for Sparda's heart-tugging trickery, Vegeta would yell out to snap Goku back to reality. But Trunks, concerned, would add, Father, it's just like last time. We need to help him. Let's attack Gohan from behind. No! But instantly shutting Trunks' idea down right from the start, a cold-faced Prince of Saiyans would casually respond, This is Kakarot's battle. His decision. His resolve. If he can't do whatever it takes to save everyone, then we were doomed from the very beginning anyway. Time to teach you a lesson, Dad! As still holding on to his father-son shtick, Sparda would grit his teeth before... He would switch his stance, bringing his arms around until... With a scream, the demonic Saiyan would finally fight back, taking his one opportunity as Goku would hesitate to turn the tide completely. Get back! And with that, Sparda would no longer just be holding back Goku's blast, but fire out one of his own. And within moments, it would begin pushing back Goku's beam even from his advantage up top, slowly but surely inching closer back to our hero. As Goku could only grit his teeth and struggle. That would be until with his eyes closed and the surroundings dark as if he had entered his own dimension, his mouth open would mutter out, Kame Hame Smite! As out of nowhere, finally removing all doubt, Goku would suddenly retransform back into his archangel form, covered in metallic shining silver armor from face to chest, his eyes a completed Saiyan seraphim, as he now, with his insane Zenkai boost after being beaten earlier, would unleash all hell, or should we say heaven, with his almighty Kamehameha variant, as divine smite energy would pulse straight through the turtle wave. Huh? This is... And instantly, Sparda's entire tune and face would change, and with that bright light shining on his face, almost immediately, he would know what time it was. The very dark core of his soul knowing when an angel's power was at work. As Archangel Goku's blast would now be seen completely enveloping and covering Sparda's body. Eviscerating his entire existence, as under the immense white light, all the demon-fused Saiyan would appear as is a charcoal black shadow screaming. Smite! Smite! And in strange coincidence, just as Archangel Goku would be finishing his all-encompassing assault, so too would Dai all the way in the demon realm be doing the exact same, bringing down their divine angel powers almost like brothers linked by fate. Dai, when did he learn this? And the effects would be palpable on his target also, as Lucif, now on one knee and violently shaking, would be brought down even further, his body doing everything it could to resist being smited back down to Sector 10. But with how overpowering it would would only be a matter of time before the final devil would be gone. Dai! The divine smite! It's working just like it did on Rani! Good timing, old man! And observing it all would be the just barely standing back up Vegito, bloody and damaged all over after brutally having his devil armor ripped off by force straight from his skin. But clearly moving on fast, it wouldn't be too long before a smile would return to the God-Killer's face, as he would realize and comment, He's down! The erasure is slower than with that witch, but he's incapacitated for sure! This is my chance! My time to finish this all! And with that realization, Vegito would act near immediately, rushing in with speed with his hands outreached, ready to beat down on a crippled Lucif. Wait, God Killer! Stop right there! But before any move further could be made, instantaneously, a ringing loud and impending voice from the former Grand Priest would be heard screaming at Vegito to stop. As the God Killer immediately, as if frozen by magic, would do just that, but with confusion on his face, as he would wonder, "Die? What the hell are you saying? Why?" As Dai, still bringing down the pain with his divine smite, would just explain, "You fool! What do you think happens if you get yourself hit with this smite yourself? You're a demon too! You'll be sent down just like him if you get any closer! No attacks, no energy beams! You know already how that went when you tried to stop Rani's demise. Once this has started, you are not needed." Right, I guess that's true. So, this battle is over. But his energy, I need that too. Die, can't you just weaken him? With that said, Vegito would back down, landing back down on the ground. Fools! But back with Lucif, his mouth would start foaming with blood and rage, as he would grunt with one eye open, yelling, "Smite me! And what then? Yes, you won't have my energy, which you clearly need, Vegito! No chance you even touch Lucif when you can't even defeat me! But not only that, if I'm smited, you two are trapped here! What? And with that stunning reveal, both Vegito and Dai would be left gobsmacked, never having anticipated such words, as all that would be left would be confusion on their minds. That's right! Think again! As still forcing himself to stay up, Lucif would continue, "The only way you get out of here is if you become the devil, and you find a vessel in the mortal realm to possess, just like Lucif did before you. But the only way you become the devil is if I die, not if I get to escape to Sector 10. All that'll mean is that you have to go back down and find me, and battle your way all the way back through every sector here. No! Leaving Vegito to recoil in shock, as in no way could he afford to have to undergo everything he went through all over again. Die! Stop! You need to stop this now! We'll do this another way! As the God Killer, now in a panic, would instantly raise his voice in the direction of the angel, screaming for him to stop things before it was too late. No! Lucif must be gotten rid of now! I must defeat him now! I will be the one to have the upper hand in the end. Trust me, he is my brother, and I know his lies. He is bluffing. This smite will remove him from this land and create a shell of his former self. And we, just like always, will find our way out. I am not stopping, God Killer! You idiot! Blast you! with this conviction in his voice, it would be obvious to all that Dai's divine smite would only increase in intensity, as Lucif would now be flat on his stomach, and behind him, his tail would finally begin erasing right before his eyes too.
Dai! You've made a big mistake! I'll be back, and you'll both still be here! It's only a matter of time, scum! So go ahead and delay the inevitable!
Letting off his final scathing words, as any second now, his whole body would finally vanish. But suddenly, for some reason, Dai's expression would shift dramatically. Almost frozen as if paralyzed, it would be unclear if this would be a reaction to Lucif's final words, or if the reaction was to something else. No! No! Why would you do this? Not now! And as we would peer closer at his face, the blue hue all over it would tell us everything. Something was not right. With his wide eyes and his softened voice, it would seem whatever was wrong was closer to home than we could ever think. As right behind Dai now, appearing with the coldest and most stoic of expressions, Ultra Vegito the God Killer would for the first time in a long time appear behind Dai and with bad intentions. And by the look on Dai's face, it would seem even he knew what would now happen. But before it would all go down, with blood continuing to trickle down his forehead, the God Killer, as Dai's eyes would shift to the side, would be sure to leave some final words for his old rival, letting out,
I'm sorry, Dai. I know how you feel, and I know how much you want this win over Lucif. But I can't let it happen. Not like this. Sending Rani's devil gene down was one thing, but this would be too much if I ever want to stop Lucif. In the end, you are another god that was meant to be part of me. But in this time, we have undoubtedly gotten closer. For that, I thank you. But now, we'll never be apart again.
As in a shock reveal, behind Dai would already be Vegito's cell tail, firmly stabbed straight into Dai's back, already in the process of draining his angel life force, as the Grand Priest simply does nothing about it but freeze in disbelief over Vegito's betrayal.
Vegito!
And as always within moments, the youthful boyish-like face and complexion of the former Grand Priest would fade, dilapidate, and age 1,000 years within seconds, as his skin would become flaps and the shine of his Saiyan seraphim eyes and symbols would vanish in an instant, until finally leaving a hollow corpse.
It stopped!
And Lucif would be the first to notice, as instantly everything that was pushing him down previously would come to a complete halt.
Goodbye, Dai!
As finally levitating in the air would be Vegito, and his final angelic victim of Season 1, now complete. The Grand Priest had been absorbed, and now appears as a weightless hunk of bones, only maintained by Vegito's iron-cast grip. eventually thrown to the ground as simultaneously Lucif would stand and comment,
He really did it! The kid really is Lucif himself after all. Sorry, Dai, but there are no friends here.
But even with that said, and the events that just happened, Vegito wouldn't exactly be gloating or happy in any way. Instead, seen with his head bowed and his eyes closed in deep thought. But Lucif would nevertheless continue to prod, grinning away saying,
You made the right decision. Do you see now? We are one in the same, brother. Nobody is safe around us. Not even ourselves.
But as Lucif would go off, Vegito would continue to just remain silent. His head ducked down even more now until...
No! I am nothing like you!
As Vegito, finally opening his eyes with a deathly stare, would now reveal himself with one cyan seraphim eye and one red seraphim eye. Just like Rani before him, his body would tense as his gaze would continue before... With a raucous scream, finally, the God Killer would unleash the true power increase from now gaining the final angel. An archangel at that, as his entire body would become a mass of shining light, creating a ball of energy in the sky, pushing wind and force in all directions. All while a wide-mouthed Lucif would just mutter,
What is happening to him? How strong was Dai's energy?
And in a flash, with Black Thunder mixed, a transformation would now begin. With the first parts of his devil armor reforming, but also now with even the silver shining armor of the Archangel, the two opposite sides seemingly contorting and hurting his body, as one side would have his arm get coated in devil energy along with the formation of wings, while on the other, his arms would become feathered in white feathers, and in the middle, a two-sided diamond symbol, one half cyan and one half blood red.
This ends now, you pointless clone.
As in an earth-shattering reveal, an all-new form, if only still incomplete, would be revealed for Ultra Vegito. Himself now a hodgepodge combination of both an archangel and a devil transformation. The very first signs of a Nephalem Vegito had just been born, covered in white aura as Black Thunder would roam in contrast. The gaze of his black, red, and cyan eyes saying everything about his newfound confidence in his strength. And soon enough, with a strange sense of pure calm, Vegito would nonchalantly descend to the ground, landing effortlessly in full control of his now weighted body, before now facing Lucif, who would stand watching all, patiently and with caution. At which point, Ultra Vegito would then strangely pull out one finger, looking at it intensely saying,
So this is what Rani felt. The power of an elite angel and devil combined.
Before soon a ball of energy would now form on the tip of his finger, and he would continue,
No wonder that cow was so mad. Two opposing forces like this, I can already feel like it's ripping my mind to pieces. Good and evil, it's all blending together. In deep thought I see.
But giggling away with his arms folded, Lucifer would just let out,
I guess in the end, the threat of having to start all over again was just too much, Vegito? Even worth giving poor old Dai that sorry end.
But looking back coldly, Vegito would only respond,
No!
Before swinging his arm and finger, pointing it now straight at Lucifer, and finishing,
I just couldn't leave here without taking back everything that's mine.
As instantly, Vegito would then blast out a thin beam with no warning, and with its target firmly set as Lucifer. The devil, immediately taken by surprise, removing his arms from his folded pose in a panic until, with all his might, he would swing his body with speed, attempting to avoid being struck at all costs.
Nice try!
And avoid is exactly what he would do, as by the skin of his teeth, or should I say the skin of his back, Lucifer would dodge as Vegito's beam would shoot off into the distance and explode.
Yes! Nice try! What?
But just as he would dodge one deadly attack, unfortunately, the Nephalem Vegito would already be right in his face, with his newly feathered arm fully straight back and ready to go. Ready to completely annihilate the Lucifer-infused Vegito by uppercutting him brutally into the air, sending his chin soaring into the sky as his teeth would slam into each other, shattering on impact. And within moments, the clone would be far above. But only for Vegito, on bringing down his arm to already begin vanishing. And when he would reappear, it would be right on top of the devil, emotionless, as behind him he would pull back both hands back together, and for one purpose only. Ultimately slamming his two-toned arms down with vindictive force and power, straight back down onto Lucifer before he could even think of defending himself. His screams of agony louder than any Vegito had done before. Shot right back down to the ground just as fast as he ascended seconds before, like a ping pong ball ready to make his final collision with the sector he called home.
What?
But as Lucifer would fall, when he finally would make a stop, it wouldn't be the ground that he would make contact with, but instead another object that would seemingly grab him perfectly, pinpointing the weight of his fall straight onto his spine, and for devastating effect. And eventually, this object would be revealed to be none other than Vegito himself, taking a page out of the past, reenacting a finisher Goku had done on Nappa, as completely debilitated, a twitching Lucifer would be spiked across Vegito's lifted devil arm.
Weakling!
And with no remorse, annoyed to even have to be there, the God Killer would then toss the clone forward, leading to a brash fall on the ground right in front of Vegito. And before long, the Nephalem would then fold his arms, but eccentrically, as looking down he would comment,
1,000 Vegitos, and not one of you could realize relying on Lucif is what truly made you weak. Losing yourself, losing your own identity, to be a mere brainwashed slave. Today, I will remind you who you once were, who I am.
As strangely then removing both hands, like an android, Vegito would then reveal what looks like two cannon innards of his arms, swiftly then pointing them towards the downed Lucif on the ground before...
I am Vegito!
And just like that, with full force, now utilizing one of Android 16's signature attacks, the God Killer would unleash the most powerful Hell's Flash in history. Incinerating Lucif's skin immediately as his screams would run through the cosmos, his entire body and face caught up in the burning energy instantly. And within moments, as the beam would be directed straight at the ground, the energy itself would overload the sector, shooting out several light sources out of the ground like lava on Namek, ultimately resulting in a huge eruption of pure destruction right in front of the God Killer, his face completely blank and devoid of feeling, as even he would catch some of his own fiery backlash burn up upon his armor and face. The aftermath being just a giant bottomless pit in the ground, full of charcoal and ash, where even the ground beneath had been burnt to a crisp. As the blemishless Vegito, with his angelic armor still shining, would just let out finally,
I am Vegito, and you are nothing now.
And with that said, the scene would then change, and strangely to the void of space, as what looks like a shooting meteor would soar through the expanse. But once we would peer closer, it would in fact be a Saiyan space pod, and within it, the same Raditz from an entirely new multiverse that the elder god Poseidon had showed us last chapter, shooting off towards a new planet in the distance, before ultimately making a crash landing on its surface. But on the planet, it would seem Raditz's arrival was not unexpected at all. In fact, with a line of men on either side ready to welcome him. And as they would wait nervously for the space pod to open, finally, the Saiyan would begin making his appearance out of the ship, walking confidently in a stride past the many races and species of men, before one would call out, Prince Raditz! How were your travels, sire? Did you find what you desired? To which Raditz would just respond, no, unfortunately not. I need to talk to Father. Where is he? He should be in the throne room. He has a meeting with the destroyer Cujo.
Cujo? Now what business does that weakling destroyer have with us now?
And it wouldn't be long before we would then get a look at this so-called throne room, resembling plenty the same one King Vegeta had back in our multiverse, as a shrouded in darkness figure would sit on the throne, with a certain furry creature kneeling before him. My king! And with its first words, it would be revealed to be a dog-like creature, but mysteriously wearing the garbs of a god of destruction, as he would continue, I trust everything is going well with your search for the wishing orbs. My angel and I are at your service for all your needs.
Silence! Raditz is here.
But the Dark King would stop the destroyer short, as he would notice the impending footsteps, as a certain foot would then indeed come through the entrance and...
There you are, King. Behold, for I finally have some good news.
And with that, the king himself would stand, his armored foot making way before...
Raditz, tell me more, son.
As revealed at the throne would be no King Vegeta, nor any king we know, but certainly a ghost white skinned figure with red tribal tattoos that was recognizable to many. The entrance of Kratos, God of War and former God Killer, had finally come.
But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Kratos in the comments down below and let me know just what the God of War will do in this story. Or just find out what happens right now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked, and edited for you to enjoy with over 4,500 plus other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.